Inside the Now by Thich Nhat Hanh. Dear one, do not seek happiness in the future. Do not wait for that day. Do not wait for a distant future then. Do not say that happiness will be possible only when you have this or that. What is it you are looking for? What is it you are waiting for? Is it fame, power, wealth, or sex? Or is it just anything to distract us from the emptiness inside? Do not think that you will be truly happy only when you have obtained these things. Do not wait for then. Dear Thai, dear Sangha, I am Sister True Dedication, and I'm here with my dear brother Nghiem. I don't know how we like to translate that at the moment.
Go for Brother Freedom.
Okay, Brother Freedom. So you got dedication and freedom. As you may know, the theme of our retreat is stop waiting, start living. So if we really want to put that into practice, we have to have a sense of what we are waiting for, what we need to let go of, so we can really live this moment deeply, fully in freedom. We may have a sense that we are lacking something. We're not quite happy with how we are or how the world is. For my part, I know I may say, oh, I'll be happy when the political situation changes. I'm British, which is why I have a strange accent, so you can understand what I mean. You're American, I understand what you might mean. So, or I might feel that, I will be happy when issues I care about are recognized by others and that the world is kind of on a better track. Or in terms of myself, maybe I might think, I will be happy when. And then I have a nice list of things that I feel I will be happy after they have happened. It might be something to do with work or projects. Some of us may be in college. We have a qualification to complete, maybe a promotion to get. I can only be happy when. I will be happy then. And it's important because this is a kind of underlying truth that we're holding in our daily life. It's as though we're not giving ourselves permission to be happy now, permission to be free, permission to touch life deeply and feel that this moment is enough, and how I am in this moment is enough. So it has something to do with outside, what we're waiting for outside, and something to do with what we're waiting for inside. I once heard our teacher say that we are all like saucepans trying to find our lid. Our path in life, where to put our energy. We may have a lot of questions. Am I really living the life I want to live yet? Have I found my path? Am I really the kind of person I would like to be? And we hope on this retreat to give you the space and opportunity to look into these questions, to hold them in your heart like a kind of koan. You may have heard of the tradition or the practice of koans in the Zen tradition. These are koans. They're something we hold in our heart and mind in order to get an insight. What is really pushing us? What is blocking us from being free and happy in this moment? And we may have come on this retreat with different intentions. Some of us may have come simply out of curiosity, like a kind of life experience, Buddhist retreat, check. Or maybe someone told us to come. And maybe we came because we trusted them, or because we just wanted to make them happy. And when Brother Freedom and I were talking about this earlier, we realized that we both made our first trips to the monastery because someone else told us to. But don't worry, if you're in that category, it doesn't mean you have to become a monastic in the end. It's a nice way to come on a retreat, I think. Some of us may also be here because we want to learn something or get something. Maybe we would like to master our body and mind. We've encountered difficulties and we would like to have some means of practice to handle those difficult situations. Maybe we would like to step back a bit from our life to really touch something much deeper. We might have a sense that we're being kind of pushed. We're on a kind of endless, I want to say conveyor belt, but there's a sort of energy pushing us. And we can't believe, is this really what life is all about? So to come on a retreat is a chance to step out, literally and metaphorically, to see the stars, to see the moon, to feel the mountains and nature, and really stop and feel and look deeply and really taste what it means to be alive. Taste what it means to have this life and to be able to have the freedom to do what we would like with it. We don't just have to push and be swept away by the majority. We invite you to let go of any reasons you may have had to come here, any expectations, so you can open up to discover the unexpected. If we impose our views on reality, we may not be able to see reality. We may not be able to experience and feel it. But one thing we do know we will be able, well, in fact, there's a few things we'll be able to give you in the coming few days. We will be enjoying and generating a collective energy of mindfulness and peace together. We'll be participating in that, learning how it feels. we will be able to experience an atmosphere of compassion and peace in that, and to really touch a love and vulnerability inside ourselves. We will also touch a path, a way forward, a way to live our life. And we hope also we will be able to touch our true nature, to touch our true self, our true home inside and here on this beautiful planet. And earlier, Brother Freedom promised that he would tell a story about this. So I'd like to invite him to share his true home, true self story.
First, Sister Dedication, thank you for this beautiful intro. I resonate with so many things you've said, and my aspiration and my wishes for this retreat are exactly the same. Sitting here and seeing you all coming in and settling down, and I guess the walking meditation has contributed a lot to it. It was so peaceful, and I felt so connected with you, and I was looking around trying to catch some eyes and looks and try to figure out how you are, how you feel. And there was a deep connection. Also with myself, I felt my heart pounding and my skin warming, but the connection was there, and it was vulnerable, as you said, but it was beautiful, and it was like touching my true self, being connected. Coming down here to the hall, I'm passing a jasmine flower. It's actually nearly a tree of a lot of jasmine flowers. And often I don't really see it as tonight when I walk down. But something made me stop, and that was the fragrance of it. And I remembered, this is the jasmine tree to my left, like pouring out this energy, this fragrance, this beauty. And I had to stop to smell it and to give it a moment, to offer a moment of my time, my attention. And this flower doesn't wait for anything. This flower doesn't intend anything. It is just, in my eyes and for my nose, just beautiful as it is. And often I wish that I would be more like this jasmine flower, that I could just be myself, connected with myself, and be what I am and be happy with it, and spread out this beautiful fragrance. Now, at least I showered extra for this evening. So if you smell something beautiful, that's probably me. And I also hope the practices and meditations, activities we will be doing at this retreat will help us not to wait for anything, but to find ourselves in the very moment of what we are doing, and coming closer to who we are. And we will have a lot of opportunities together, alone, the 2, 3 of us. So it's important to stay open, curious, and keen, but also relaxed and beautiful. And yes, I promise to tell a story. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, in Thailand, there was a temple. Is that part of it? There was a temple with a big golden Buddha statue. There was the temple of the golden Buddha. And it was huge and very famous. But then they got word in the village that a neighboring country was about to invade the village, and they were fearing for the golden Buddha. So they came up with a great idea to cover it in mud and in concrete, so it wouldn't look like golden anymore, but just like a stone Buddha. And the army would perceive no worth in it. So the army really rolls in to that village, passes the temple, and looks what there is to plunder, but they see the stone Buddha and nothing worth to take away. So they leave the place and continue the war. So years pass by in the village as this army also continues to invade the country and occupy it, that there comes a day when nobody in the village or in the monastery remembers the golden Buddha. Until one monk sat down to meditate under the stone Buddha. And as he got up, a little piece of the stone Buddha cracks off and falls next to him, and he looks up and sees something shiny. And he thinks, oh my God, this Buddha is golden. And he runs off to his fellow monks, and they come all and look at this Buddha, and they say, the Buddha is golden, the Buddha is golden. And they bring their picks, and they bring their hammers, and they start to uncover the stone Buddha, and they find that this huge Buddha statue is golden. And I see some smiles on your face. That's a story. So I guess you get the metaphor. The metaphor is we are all golden by nature. We are born golden. We are born connected. We are born one. We are born one with all spiritual masters. We are born with we are one with our bliss, with the world. But what happens? What happens is, at one time, we are taught that it's not cool to undress everywhere you go when you're about 4 or 5. Then in school, I did that, and my sister, and so that's a personal experience. And they tell you, this is what boys do, this is what girls do, this is what our family does, this is what other family, this is what our culture does, this is what you do and what you don't do. And we build up this casing on our golden nature, and we become a stone Buddha. And then we also do it ourselves. We say, this is what I am, this is the music I like, this is the fashion I like, this is the people I like, the people I don't like. And we cover ourselves to protect us from being vulnerable. And then something happens in our lives, be it accident, sickness, a breaking relationship, something in the family, parents divorcing, something, suffering, something that really scares us. And one piece of our armor knocks off, and we see a shiny little thing, we see a piece of gold. And I believe in the moment we see this piece of gold under our armor, this armor and this protection we have built up for so long won't satisfy us any longer. And we are going to uncover and to pick it off. And this can be the practice too, to find our true selves by practicing mindfulness, becoming still, looking deeply inside of ourselves, in the here and in the now, seeing who we are, who we think we are, what we made of ourselves. And we just kind of wanna get rid of this stone Buddha and become golden again. So that is the story. And as we said, in these next days we will have a lot of practices that will help us recognizing our golden nature, slowing down, becoming still, together on our own cushion. There will be a lot of opportunities. And I wonder how we start that. Do you have an idea, Sister Dedication?
I have an idea.
Ooh.
So I hope that many of us here know that this is a mindfulness retreat. And so mindfulness is our, I want to say, mindfulness is the energy we will be generating to become fully awake to who we are, to our golden Buddha. Brother Freedom forgot to say, here in the golden state. So that was, we wanted a little theme. So we want to use that energy of mindfulness to be able to connect to who we are, to our way of being, our being, and to connect to the moment and what is going on around us. So our teacher Thai, Thich Nhat Hanh, for us, we really describe mindfulness as first of all an energy. It's not a thing, it's not something we kind of do, it's not a tool, it is really an energy. And we generate that energy first and foremost with our body. It's not something that comes from the mind. I remember when I discovered this, I was like, clearly it has the wrong name. Mindfulness. So basically we're using everything to be mindful except ideally our mind. So we want to use our senses, our body, how our body feels, the fragrances, like Brother Freedom, what we can hear, what we can see. So if we're in touch with our different senses, then we know that we're in the present moment. Our mind is not carrying us away to the future, what we have to do next week, our projects, our dreams, and our mind isn't taking us back into the past. We're not feeling burdened by regret or heaviness about the past. So if you're in your senses, you know you're in the present moment, and we're already starting to generate the energy of mindfulness. And in our tradition, our awareness in particular of our breathing is that first kind of ultimate gateway to the present moment. So at any time in our day, and we'll have lots of easy opportunities to do it and other more challenging opportunities to do it, at any moment we want to kind of pick up on where our breath is. When I first began practicing mindful breathing, I was like a cat and my breath was like a mouse. And whenever I tried to find it, it always sort of caught itself and disappeared, like wasn't able to approach it naturally. And I think the image that has really worked for me is I join my breath like a bird joining another bird in flight. I sort of want to join gently and just enter the flow of wherever my breathing is. So in whatever position we are now, we can just ask ourselves very gently, am I breathing in now or am I breathing out? And then as we find where the in-breath is and where the out-breath is, we could say silently to ourselves, in, out, in, out, very gently. And the question may be, how are we becoming aware of our breathing? I used to think of it like my mind kind of going outside like an observer and saying, this is an in-breath, this is an out-breath. But in fact, what we're doing is we're experiencing the whole thing of breathing from within our body. So for some of us, we might feel that the chest, the chest expands slightly as the breath comes in, or maybe our tummy and our diaphragm. We might be feeling our breathing at our nose, at our nostrils. There's a very slight movement of air. Often it's a little bit cooler coming in and a little bit warmer as it comes out. So we could either follow our breath from one place in the body, so we keep our attention there at our nostrils, or we keep our attention at our diaphragm. Actually, it's better to have our attention at our diaphragm than our chest. So we might make our breath a bit short if we're following our breath at our chest. It's better to follow it at our tummy. Or we could follow the whole experience of the breath as it's coming in and flowing down, like a wave coming into the body, and we see all the ways that the trunk of our body is responding to the air coming in and then the air coming out. When we meet our breath, we have an opportunity to listen to what our breath is telling us about how we're doing right now. Some of us may still be a little tense or exhausted after the long day, so our breath might be short. We might already feel sleepy, so our breath might be a little bit long. Our breath might be heavy, it might be light. It's as though our breath has so much to tell us about how we're doing. And so every moment on this retreat, when we have a chance to come back and listen to our breathing, be with our breathing, become aware of it, we're listening to something deeper in ourselves to get some information, to connect with really how we're doing. And simply by being aware of the breathing, that already offers some change. And you can explore for yourself what that change is. For many of us, the breathing might naturally get a little bit more relaxed, a little bit longer. And what I'd like us to do is to experiment a bit with our sitting position. When we practice sitting meditation, we sit with our body, not with our mind. So our body is our help. Our body is what will ensure we can have a peaceful, stable, pleasant experience of sitting meditation. So our posture is important. It's very helpful to have the back straight. So just for the next few minutes, we can explore, based on what we have around us, the cushions, a coat, or whatever. You can reach forward if you want to grab a second cushion. Whatever to make our back straight. And some of us may find that kneeling, and possibly kneeling on two cushions, may give us the best strength in our back. The most important thing is that our trunk can be in a good position. Lotus, no lotus, half lotus, doesn't matter. The main point is that our trunk can feel kind of solid and stable. And we can check in a little bit with our shoulders. We are the computer generation. So, we're designed to sit like this. So we can maybe roll each shoulder open. So forward, up, and let it drop back, our shoulders. If you like, you can kind of play around a bit. You might feel some fizzing. I'm feeling some fizzing on the back of my neck as our shoulders release a bit of tension. And this is also to help our lungs have the space they need to really naturally let the air flow in on the in-breath. And we can check in a bit with the position of our head. You may like to imagine you're slightly leaning forward. Often we have a tendency to lean a little bit back. So see how it feels to lean a little forward. And our pelvis also would be tipped a little forward. And then we kind of can tuck our chin in a little bit to sort of lengthen the back of our spine. And we can imagine there's a little string kind of pulling up the back of our head. And we may feel, this is not the position I spend most of the day in. This feels a little bit unusual perhaps, but we don't want to introduce sort of tension. So whatever you can do, see if you can then soften this position, kind of 10%, so that you really feel the body can kind of rest into this posture. And we come back again to follow the breathing, see whether it's flowing in or out. In as it comes in, out as it comes out. And we can pay a little bit of attention to our hands. They may have a little bit of stored up energy in them. It's the keyboard phone energy. So we can maybe wriggle our fingers a little bit, stretch our hands, and then allow them to rest in a position that is kind of close to the trunk of our body, either at the top of our thighs or perhaps in our lap, and allow our fingers to be naturally curled. They have a natural curl to them in the resting position. And they can be open to receive, open to listen. And as we listen to a sound of the bell, we can allow ourselves just to ride naturally on our awareness of our in-breath as it flows in, and out-breath as it flows out. Breathing in, I follow my in-breath all the way through, from the beginning to the end. Breathing out, I stay with my out-breath all the way through, from the beginning to the end. In-breath all the way through, out-breath all the way through. Breathing in, I become aware of my whole body. My head, face, shoulders, arms, legs, hands. Breathing out, I smile to my whole body. Aware of body, smiling to body. Breathing in, I recognize any areas of tension or pain in my body. Breathing out, I soften and release the tension. Aware of tension, easing, softening tension. Becoming aware of the sound of the croaking frogs in the distance. I breathe in, smiling to the frogs and mountains. I breathe out, aware of frogs, smiling. Aware of the energy of peace in this hall and the community surrounding me, I breathe in, smiling to this energy of peace and community, I breathe out. So, dear friends, this is the kind of energy we will generate at different moments throughout our day in different practices. And this is how we go in to touch and create that energy. We come back first to our breathing, to the breathing in our body very gently. What is the position of our body? How could we ease our body a little bit? What is going on around us? Maybe it's the bird song or the frogs or people. And through that, as we will learn during the course of this retreat, we then get to listen a bit to what's going on. We will start to, from the place of being rooted in our body and our breathing, and that mindful energy rooted in our body and our breathing, we can then feel whether we are happy or sad or anxious. We have some space to be able to listen to what's going on inside. And we can also start to hear the thoughts that are actually going on in our mind. We may have had some thinking come up already just in those few breaths that we did together, and that's very natural. It's very normal. And we recognize the thoughts, smile to them, and come back. And the trick is to become absolutely fascinated by our breathing. You have to be so curious. What is this thing? It's apparently our only physical function that we can do both with intention and kind of without intention. Like it has this really special quality that we can control it, and yet also it will go on automatically if we let it. So it's very special, and it has a lot of information, both the physical experience of it and what that physical experience is telling us about how we're doing. So in your sitting meditation, please become fascinated by your breathing. Be gentle with it, flow with it. Enjoy it. If you get bored of following it at your tummy, follow it at your nose. That's an easy way to stay awake if you're feeling sleepy, is to follow the breathing at the nose. And to really enjoy a full out-breath is the key to a gentle in-breath. So experiment with your breathing. When we hear any of the bells around the hamlet as we did at dinner time, that is a moment, it's an invitation to come back to our true home, our golden Buddha, our true self. And that home is in the present moment where life is. We can't find life tomorrow. We can't find it yesterday. And it's an invitation to touch life however you would like in that moment. It's not that someone is saying, now you need to freeze. It's not an instruction, it's an invitation. Take a moment to check in, to stop, to listen, to be with ourselves, to discover something about this present moment that we hadn't yet noticed or realized. It's an invitation to have a moment of peace in the midst of whatever's going on. And so we enjoy these moments together when we hear the clock chiming in the dining hall, or when we hear the bell in the meditation hall, or the hanging bell on the pepper tree, which is what we call the activity bell. So whenever we hear the sound of the bell, we really take a moment to come back. And this evening we had the wonderful sound of the temple bell as we were doing the walking meditation. As you noticed, it goes on for a while, 15 or 20 minutes. So for the first few sounds of the temple bell, we can stop and pause, enjoy looking at the sky and hearing the sound resonate across the valley. And then after maybe the first 7 or 10 sounds, then we can continue on our way as the bell continues. And the bells create these kind of micro moments in the day to come back, to return to our breathing, to our body, to what is going on inside. It is a moment of freedom. It is a moment when you say, I am not going to be swept away by whatever is going on or whatever I was doing. I stop. I resist. I am free. I want to get in touch with what matters to me most. I want to listen, to feel connected. So the bell practice is quite fun, and each one of us can do it in our own way, leaving space for each other. And Brother Freedom is going to share a little bit about other practices, how we generate this energy of mindfulness, and still with our breath and body, but while moving, you know. So the sitting practice is a version of generating the energy of mindfulness with our mindful breathing, and it's the version where we stay still. But the rest of the day, we're still with our breathing, but our body is moving and we're doing different things. Right?
I hope so. Yes, as we go along with our day, so sitting meditation will be our first activity every morning together as a collective. And after that we will practice walking meditation together. And you see what Sister Dedication wants, the message she wants to bring is not so much the technical aspect of the practice, but the spirit of it and the heart of it. And if we understand and grasp this very spirit of it, we know what to do and we know how to do it. And every one of us, as you said, might have their own technique or strategy, how to come back to ourselves, how to slow down, how to recognize emotions, thoughts, and bring us back to the here and the now. And I liked how you say, are we coming back to life? And this is where life takes place, the present moment. We are really like coming alive in each moment. We're rediscovering each moment and coming alive in every moment. And then it doesn't matter what we are doing. And you will also see that we're basically not doing anything different than you would do, I like what some of our long-term say, in the real world. So we're in the unreal world here. Feels pretty real to me, though. So what we do here is no difference. We sit, we walk, we eat, we work, we talk. But there's only the difference that we do these things in mindfulness, and we walk in freedom, and we're not rushing somewhere, but we walk in order to arrive at ourselves, with each step to come closer to where we are, right here and right now. We don't want to arrive somewhere. We will naturally, well, we put one foot in front of the other. But the walking we practice here is to come home and to connect with myself and to, as I said, to come closer to where I already am. So, you know what? Did everybody get this? The organizing team really did a great job putting this together. And you have wonderful, wonderful explanations about the technique of each practice, like the basic. And I believe with our heart we're putting here into it, that you will find your little treasure and your little gems in each practice and know how to do it. I think the most important thing is what we said at the beginning, to be and stay open. And I want to quote Frank Zappa, who said, the mind is like a parachute. The mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. So we want to stay open to life, to the moment, to us, and to be honest, and to recognize in what state we are, how we feel, if we are carried away. And we want to be curious and explore each breath, each thought, and be really there. And it sounds so easy to be there. And when you said it, I felt free right away. But I know it's not. And we will all experience, we have habit energies. And our habit energies are like these salesmen who come to your door and ring the bell, and you open the door and you see is the salesman who wants to sell me a vacuum cleaner, and you want to shut the door and he has already his foot in. And that's it. And you're back in your habit energy and you worry about the future. You regret something in the past. You want to have your work done. You want to arrive somewhere and you don't want to walk that slow, and you get agitated sitting and thinking. And to recognize that this sales representative is in front of our door or having his foot there is one great gift of the practice, because usually we won't see that, and we would just like let him in and buy a vacuum cleaner we don't need. You got it. So what we do is we do everything we do outside, but with freedom, because we are here, we are alive, and we are not alone. We are so many, and we can observe others. And sometimes we get lost in our habit energy, but all the others around us are working peacefully, are walking freely, are eating with beauty and peace, and there's so much inspiration we can get out of that. So whatever we practice is for our own good, but also for everyone else. We are spreading out that makes it easier. So please keep that in mind too. Whatever you do has an effect on others. And if you get lost, we are so many, we help each other out. So as for the working meditation, you saw that we have a lot of families, and every family has another responsibility here to keep the retreat going. It's like a little society, you know. We have trash people, we have people who take care of the meditation hall, we have people who wash up, we have people who do the compost, who do this and that. So it's a little city we are running here, with a difference that we know each other, or we might not know each other because we have different sharing families, but we know that when we look at each other that this person is doing something and contributing something to keep that retreat going. And I can be very grateful for that person, even I don't know what she or he is doing, but I know that I'm doing something that makes her or his life more beautiful, and she or he is doing something that makes mine easier. And with that insight, we can work in a way that gives us freedom, and we offer freedom and ease to other people because they don't have to take care of that, what I'm taking care of. And the more peaceful and joyful I do my responsibility, the more space I give to others to receive it easily and to not feel guilty for me to do something for them or wanting me to reward me for that what I'm doing. So it's a giving and taking. And seeing that, we can enjoy silently, because working can be a meditation. And seeing what is my body doing, how am I breathing, is my breath short, do I want to get this thing done, is my back hurting, do I have enough space to see my fellow worker, seeing that she has a hard time, and I invite her to come and breathe for 2-3 times with me or offer a hug. So these are all things that makes life much more beautiful than when we just work from 9 to 5 or when we just walk from here to here. And that is the difference. That's the spirit we wanna live and come alive in this week. What else do we do? Eating, right? You want to share something about eating? Or I share something about eating. I like eating. Eating is my favorite meditation practice. But I get a little bit nervous when I'm not like in the first third of the row. So you might find me every day like in the first. I come on time, so I'm not at the end, because I'm always afraid that I won't get enough. But as you can see, I always get enough. It's a deep fear. Eating is a deep and old instinct of surviving, and I guess it is still so alive in us, because so many mindfulness retreats, so many beautiful retreats with shiny people, and when it comes about eating, we forget everything. Starting with lining up, eating, or waiting for the bell or everyone to come in and reading out the contemplations can be so cruel. And as a practice, I really have to practice for much longer. But it's also beautiful because you can see growth and you can see yourself and you can be honest with yourself. And as we said, as maybe not happy with yourself you are, but at least you know it, you are connected, and you can offer yourself compassion and saying, it's okay, I see it. I see what I am, and I'm glad that I see it. And having people around me that are much more gracious and patient and peaceful help me also to recognize that and to wanting to offer that back, that peace. So they help me, and in the same time I mirror it, I receive it, and it transforms somehow in me, and I become very peaceful. And then you see me smiling while I'm chewing. Then I'm really enjoying. And I will look around when we're eating. That's not a warning, but I want to look around and see each one of you, and see how you are dealing with this eating thing. It's an interesting practice. And it is written down, so we will, for every meal, we will serve ourselves in silence and come together. It will always open with a bell. I think 3 sounds of the bell, and then we will eat in silence for 15 minutes, where we want to refrain from standing up or talking. So this is a meditation. These 15 minutes are a meditation like every other. We don't want to talk. We want to really be there and generate mindfulness and presence. So make sure you bring enough water, food, whatever you need for these first 15 minutes. And our contemplations will help you to look into the food, to see where it comes from, to see what it does with you. And don't lose it when you swallow it. Go with it, go down and see how it transforms into energy which you can use. How? What do you want to do with that energy you won from that broccoli? You can hug someone. You can smile at someone. You wouldn't be able to if you wouldn't have that energy, that strength that these vitamins give to you. So deep looking. And that's all I want to say about eating.
Would you like to say something about walking?
No. I think we covered walking already. I think we covered the spirit of walking, arrive there, we're coming closer to where we are, arriving at ourselves, walking in freedom. I want to add something. The subtitle is here. Stop waiting, start living, but it says the future in our hands and the earth under our feet. And I find that very, very strong and beautiful. So the freedom we gain from mindfulness allows us to see clearly, to have clarity, to be determined, dedicated, free, and to go on and continue and lead a beautiful and healing life for ourselves, for others. But in the same time, we have to remember that we are walking on something. You know, the earth under our feet, that it's not only us who is so beautiful, but it's the earth that allows us to stay on it. So, and to give back a little bit. So when we walk, we can give back a little bit of that stability and solidity this earth offers to us. And maybe walk in a way that is like a love song to this Mother Earth. Or a massage, or Thai often says like, walk as if you would kiss the earth, like in a love relationship, a grateful relationship. You are one with it. You say, thank you, because of you I can do these great things, and I feel, but I need you. Without the earth, I couldn't do that. So this is what I want to add. And with that, when you recognize this, you will also recognize how to preserve the earth, right? So I think this was the idea also, to bring a little bit more awareness to the planet we're living on. Walking meditation can connect us very much to the suffering our planet goes through, and to recognize that and to hear the needs of our Mother Earth and to respond to that and to contribute to her well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. So for all these practices, they will unfold naturally as the retreat continues. And we hope that those leading the walking meditation or those giving the Dharma talks can also offer some words of inspiration and reminder before we enjoy these different practices. The walking meditation will actually be right after the sitting in the morning. So please make sure that you bring, a warm layer or maybe a scarf or whatever you might need to be not too chilly as we enjoy being outside in the early morning. And that will happen in this period, what we call noble silence. So in order to really taste the peace and beauty of each moment, we have these different moments of silence in the day, like while we're eating. Also, we ask you to be silent in the bathrooms. We had a spiritual ancestor who became enlightened in the bathroom. So that's why we have that one. So hey, you might be the next one. So, but we have certain spots where we like to be silent. Actually, another one is the dishwashing line.
You're right.
And so we have different places. So when we wash the dishes, that is also a moment. I mean, our teacher's a little bit famous for this one. You might have heard, dishwashing meditation. Or he says, the only way to wash dishes is not to have clean dishes, but to wash dishes. So we're not even trying to arrive at the end of the line, having had it done, so we can go and get a cup of tea or go and have a chat with someone. We actually want, the challenge is to enjoy the first bowl of water with the soap, might have a few floating things, the second bowl of water, the third, and to look deeply. Where has that water come from? Where has the soap come from? Did our ancestors have soap and water? Where is this bowl going? What will it look like in 1,000 years or 10,000 years? Where am I going? So we have a little moment at the dishwashing. Smile at the person opposite you. You can help each other out. So that is a moment also of silence and being fully present with ourselves. And we have this other period of silence in the evening. So after the evening activity, like this one, through the night, through into sitting meditation when we all gather here in this hall. We come here, we will start sitting at 6. So, we will be woken up by a bell at 5:15, and that whole time before the sitting meditation, we will be in silence as we come from our tent or our room to the meditation hall. So this period of noble silence through the evening is quite sacred. It's a kind of gift that we give each other. And the silence is not just an external silence for everyone else on the campground or in our dorm or in the bathroom, but it's also a silence for ourselves, a silence from our device, if possible, and a time just to be with what is happening for our body, to be with the stars, to be with the frogs, to be with the quiet of the night, and then in the morning to be with the beauty of the dawn. So the silence is a gift for each other. And we continue that silence until after breakfast. So that whole morning, from waking up and walking mindfully, slowly to the meditation hall, enjoying meditation here together, then we will have the walking meditation, then we will serve ourselves for breakfast and enjoy our breakfast. So all of that happens in this wonderful embrace of silence. And once you've finished your breakfast and washed your dishes, then maybe you can start to have conversations outside the dining hall, and we let everyone else in the hall finish enjoying their breakfast. So we wish you all a wonderful retreat. We've given you a few little, nuggets for thought, nuggets for contemplation, as we enjoy this retreat together. And we have one final gift of a quote from our teacher that I would like to read before we invite the organizing team to make some announcements and fill in the bits that we missed. Okay.
Before we read that out, I would also like us to just settle again as we came in and create that energy that we had, that I was talking of, like this, just solid and peaceful when you came in and sat down, if we can come back to that. And I'm very happy for all what you have shared, and I felt for it. And I feel so free, And I want to offer you one question and one mantra you can go to catch the spirit or the heart of the practice. And you don't have to think, how was that? So you can ask yourself, how can I, in the here and now, how can I here and now come alive? Right? In this very moment, how can I come alive? What can I do for myself? And when you find yourself carried away by your habit energy, by others, by distractions or your senses, you can gently bring you back by saying, let us be kind to ourselves, or let me be kind to myself in this very moment. So offer yourself compassion and this gentle flight into another bird's flying orbit. I like that image a lot. This is just for you to ask yourself and say yourself, so we can be kind to ourselves and offer our support. So please find a beautiful, stable, solid, and comfortable position. come back to our true selves and connect like the trees of a forest, with roots and branches.
This is it. The opportunity you have been waiting for is right here in the present moment. Each step is that opportunity. Each breath is that opportunity. An opportunity to go back to the now and stop the endless wondering and waiting for that day to come. The day that you've been waiting for is today. The moment that you've been waiting for is this very moment. You must pierce the veil of time and space in order to come to the here and the now. In the now, you will find what you have been looking for.